Sure.
And I feel that here, it's a matter of if you would give that small amount to a friend or a neighbor and say, look, don't bother about giving it back. I know things are difficult. There's illness in your family or, you know, your child, whatever, they would do it. So why wouldn't it be that those people who do have money would not think to themselves, this is my country. Not I have it and I worked hard for it and I made it and those people didn't.
So, but this is coming from the I
of an outsider
to the we, you know. But thinking in these terms, I mean, it sounds
easy.
No,
but
it sounds good. It doesn't sound easy at all.
Right.
It sounds really hard.
Okay, but what did people want to be here? They were buying expensive things from the United States, from Europe, because when Iceland began to acquire money, they thought that what would you say, that the true having, the true symbol of having, was to have what people had in the United States and in Europe.
True.
Well, we have the worst of the United States, certainly the worst of England. We have the worst television, the worst influence. Our children are being influenced by this. Everything is being influenced by the negative, not the positive.
True.
So I say these are dying societies.
Yeah, dying
they're
superpowers.
Dying, right. And if they're dying, what's going to grow? What's going to live? We're the perfect people to set the example. If people ask me, you're going where? Where is Iceland? Of course, they know now.
They know, and they make fun of it. I just met a few Americans this weekend, and they just said, I mean, you say you're going to Iceland, and they make fun of it.
Right.
Because of the economic situation. But here's what I like to think about in these situations, is that all greatness comes from hard circumstances, difficulties.
Yes.
So what? Either we sit here and feel sorry for ourselves, or we aspire to greatness. But again, coming to the point that you made earlier, that transformation of a society like ours, even though it's just a neighborhood, you have to start.
It's important that it's a neighborhood because it's small enough to do it.
Yeah, but you have to start somewhere. And if you would say, my focus with this book and with my, speaking engagements and what have you, what would be your focus? Is it to influence the influencers, or is it to, if you had...
Good question.
Yeah. Because you can't, you will never...
No. When I wrote it and I did it, what I wanted to, of course, I think I can reach everybody, but I know it's impossible. I wanted to impart my wisdom, my knowledge, things that I had worked for my whole life to learn and to understand, and to realize how simple they were and how anybody could do this, that not everybody, yes.
But this is learning through doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So...
It's like going to college or going to high school.
Your recipes are about doing more, isn't it?
Doing more.
Yeah. So you're imparting the wisdom. But in yoga, they have a saying that you give somebody something to eat, and that's one way of giving. You give somebody skills, but then you give them wisdom, and that's the greatest teaching of all.
But it is. Yeah, so I feel that certainly at this age, when people would be putting me away somewhere. Not with a straitjacket, hopefully, that I have the wisdom to impart, to help people. It's like I can't walk your path, but I can walk alongside and hold your hand and give you direction. And my book does that. And the purpose for writing the book was that I had had so many clients, and I had had so much experience with them and doing what I do, that I thought I want to put it out so many, many people can have it.
Did you get the feeling sometimes you were saying the same thing over and over again to all the people?
Now?
No.
Oh, when I was talking to different people?
Your clients for 30 years?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Everybody's different.
Yeah.
The fundamental of surrender, which does not mean to give up. It means that if you really, really want something really badly, and you get it, it's fantastic. But if you don't get it, it's fantastic.
You surrender to the process.
You surrender to the process, and you surrender to what comes next and how this flow begins. When you do this, you have complete freedom. As long as you keep fighting, as long as you keep enforcing your will, It doesn't happen. And in terms of what you said about how it takes time and things have to be uncomfortable, most of my life was like that. Mm-hmm. I was put in a closet as a child. It's in there. Mm-hmm. And when I think about the fact that I screamed and my sister wanted to play with the shoes mm-hmm. and didn't want to come out after, everybody's different. Mm-hmm. But then if you think about what is your end goal of education? It's knowledge and so on. But you go there to get your degree. Mm-hmm. You struggle, though, to get your degree. Mm-hmm. So why won't you struggle to transform and then struggle to come together with other people that are transforming mm-hmm. and become a nation that stands up and says, look at who we are mm-hmm. and look at who you could be. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a fantastic goal. It's
attainable.
It's achievable.
I think it's achievable. Yeah. I think it's achievable, for sure.
We have 2 minutes left of our time together. We could probably talk for hours. I know that.
Yeah, I'd like to. Particularly with you.
Thank you. But there are a lot of people, because I've been doing the show for a while, and I'm mm-hmm. doing talks for a while myself, and I talk about the power of positive thinking and surrender, and most of the things that you're talking about here. But
the truth is the truth.
The truth is the truth, however you put it. But there are still so many doubters out there, and so many people that are really just, I think, stuck in a certain...
Many ways.
Yeah. Well, and especially now with what's happening with the economy and everything, they're angry. And would you... If you had a minute, which you have, mm-hmm. to sway them to, mm-hmm. you know, not to your point of view, but mm-hmm. to look at your point of view, what would you say?
Do you want to live?
That's it?
You want to wake up and live?
Yeah.
This book. Yeah. And this idea that we've been talking about, even if not the book, this idea that we've been talking about, wake up and live. And be positive. Even when it's really bad, be positive.
That's one point I make in my lectures, is that being positive when everybody else is positive, that's not really being positive
at all. Not at all. It's just following the crowd.
Everybody can do that.
Right.
So being positive in this kind of atmosphere, in this kind of era, that's really something. And that really just pulls out the greatness in you, which you can then, you know, how would you call it?
Expand, but you can expand.
It, yeah, and people get... they get the vibration from it. They
you know, think about this for a minute. Jan Olafsson, with all of his trials and tribulations, and we love him, we hate him, and all of his going on. He came with me into this, and he believed, but he didn't really like what I was doing all the time. But he made those changes. Yeah. Even though he was somebody who accomplished, he had to dig just as deep into himself as everybody else does. And it was just harder for him than it was for others. But he did it, and so can you.
So can everybody. Maxine, thank you very much for
Thank you very much.
Bókin heitir Ferðalagið að kjarna sjálfsins, Maxine Gaudio. Ég heiti Guðjón Bergmann. Takk fyrir áhorfið og áheyrnina.